So, we talked about the long-term vision and the 3-year. That's in terms of where you're going. And then what was the second piece I said you needed to know and to go anywhere? Well, you need to know your long-term. Let's just look back to the graphic. Long-term vision, 3-year intentions, and then where are you now? What's the starting place? So let's take a moment to look at the starting place. Because you have to make your starting plan based on reality. I mean, if you, here we're in Vancouver. If your destination was to get to Calgary, you said, okay, I'm going to go from here to Calgary, and you didn't realize that actually you're not really in Vancouver. This just looks like Vancouver, and you were in New York or something. You'd have to go a whole different direction, right? So you got to know where you are now. So there's two pieces we use for that. One is the Wheel of Life. The second is the financial tracker. Let's start with the Wheel of Life. So on the Wheel of Life, on the back of the Core Intention folder is a Wheel of Life. And on there you'll see a number of different areas. So basically, looks like this. Here, let's just draw it with 6. It's easier. All these different areas. So the first one is health. Business and career, and so on. And what we're going to ask you to do is basically, this is a subjective rating. It's totally intuitive. It's like, ask yourself and get an answer. We're going to ask you to take a look at where you feel you are today on this. So the question is, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being really poor and 10 being, everything I always wanted, how satisfied am I with my health? Like, where am I doing compared to where I want to be? Okay, it's not how close to my goal is, but how on track am I? So for example, in my health, I'd give myself maybe an 8 out of 10. So there's room for improvement. Maybe I give myself an 8.5, and then shade that in. In my business and career, I'd probably give myself an 8 again. Money and finances. So just quickly assess the answers that come for you. Yes.
Sorry, did you just say that it wouldn't be about our actual success in these areas, but how well we're working?
How on track you are towards, like how close you are. So it's just more of how are you doing in the area of health? How would you rate your health? I guess would be another way of doing it. So it is about where you're going to. Even if you had really poor health and you you were starting to work out, you'd still give yourself a low rating until you got it up higher, probably, right?
You wouldn't just give yourself a high mark and say you're working out?
No, because the goal is where are you in terms of where you want to be is maybe a better way of describing it. Is there any areas of the wheel that you feel like you'd like to have an explanation of? Yes?
With contribution, I feel like I contribute a whole heck of a lot by my actual career and work and how I'm doing.
Yes?
So it doesn't necessarily have to be outside of that, does it?
Okay. Good question. Let's actually, why don't we run around the wheel quickly? I'll talk about each area. So health and fitness is about obviously your energy and how healthy you are. Business and career, how you're doing in the business. Money and finances, I consider that how I'm doing. Like I would consider my income to be probably in my business, but it's about how I'm doing towards my net worth and developing passive income and all that would be my financial one. And then relationships, family and friends, that would be my wife and my situation with my family, my time with my friends, all those kind of things. Lifestyle and recreation, my travel, my outdoor time, the activities I get, the vacations, that kind of stuff. And then contribution is about giving back. Now, to answer your question around giving back, every one of us has our own idea of what we ideally be right for us to be doing. So personally, I feel that the work that I do is all about contribution and helping others be successful. And at the same time, there are people who are, I believe are less fortunate in this world that I also want to contribute to. But that's my thing. It can be financial. It can be time spent, volunteer, or it can just be through the work, whatever feels right for you. And then spiritual and personal development is about your growth. To what degree have you grown to be the person you know you need to be in order to achieve the results you want? Anybody want more time with that? Okay, good. Any comments or question? How many of you noticed that your ratings are lower than you'd like to be kind of across the board? Okay, is there anybody who found one that was higher? Like you actually gave yourself a pretty good rating where you weren't so sure? Yeah. So it's just subjective, but it's information for you. Oh, I'm doing actually really, really well. What I can tell you is that over time, and I mentioned earlier, we've got a number of members in ProCoach that have been using the system for 7-8 years at least, and all of them I'm seeing way, way up near the top. They're basically created their lives the way they want them over that period of time, which is very gratifying because most of them started out not with lots of low spots. So there's hope in that area, I promise you, and it's not going to take 7 or 8 years either. Okay, so any other questions or comments on that? Okay.